Namo Sakyamuni Buddha. Dear Venerable Sangha, Buddhist ladies and gentlemen, you are invited to join us in this weekly Buddhist Newsreel on Phật Chủ Online channel. Hereafter, 7 headlines of Buddhist activities of the week. Ho Chi Minh City, memorial ceremony of 28 years after death of Vietnam Buddhist Sangha First Dharma Master. BINH, Most Venerable, Chairman of VBS Administrative Council, pays a site working visit to Provincial Buddhist Administrative Board. Ho Chi Minh City, a symbol of Buddha SHAKYAMUNI bronze statue positioned at manhole of Vietnam Buddhist University. Conference to pay tribute to religions, religious facilities that encourage and mobilize the volunteers in support at hospitals treating COVID-19 patients. Deployment of 50 Buddhist volunteers participating in COVID-19 control campaign at Resuscitation Hospital. Sóc Trăng, quarantine zone in Dong Hai Bodhisattva Kuan Yin Pagoda intakes 150 F0 patients on the first day of operation. Tưởng Pagoda-based charity group inaugurates a bridge and hands over 7 almshouses. And following are the news in details. On the morning of December 14, 2021, at Quảng Đức Monastery, Ho Chi Minh City, the VBS Central Section solemnly commemorated 28 years after death of First Dharma Master, late Elder Most Venerable Thích Nhuận.
Celebrating the 28th anniversary, the honorifics of the Sangha offer incense to the soul of the VBS First Dharma Master to show gratitude for merit that he had devoted to the Sangha and the nation. At the same time, it was a pronounced call to the enact for the teaching of the late Elder Most Venerable in the Buddhist monastic work of the Sangha to build up the Vietnam Buddhist Sangha. The late Elder Most Venerable was a priest of virtue and morality, great merits in the Buddhist revival. He opened many classes of Buddhism in many places to train talented monks and nuns. The late Elder Most Venerable delivered the Dhamma through the ordinations, with many generations of novice monks to be ordained and trained monks and nuns, making the talented successor to serve the Sangha and society. In November 1981, at the Unified Conference of Vietnam Buddhists for the establishment of Vietnam Buddhist Sangha, he was elected to undertake the Dharma Master, chairman of the Council of Patrons, and he kept the position until his death. In that conference, late Elder Most Venerable requested the government to allow the Sangha to open a Buddhist school in 3 regions, southern, central, and northern area, and the pagodas to be entitled to nurture the people who came to pagodas for ascetic practices and freedom of belief to be recognized in monastery facilities throughout the country. And the request was accepted by the Prime Minister Phạm Văn Đồng at the time. The VBS First Dharma Master, Most Venerable Thích Nhuận, was born in 1897 in Nam Định, and he passed away in 1993, aged 97, with 77 years in monastic service.
On the morning of December 17, 2021, Most Venerable Thích Nhuận, Chairman of the VBS Administrative Council, head of the steering board of the provincial and city congress organizers, visited and worked with the standing section of Administrative Board in BINH Province on the preparation and organization of the 10th Buddhist Congress of BINH Province, term 2022-2027, at the Administrative Board Office in Hội Khánh Pagoda.
To welcome the Most Venerable Chairman, the welcoming team include Most Venerable Thích Thông, Vice General Secretaries of the Buddhist Administrative Council, Chairs of the BINH Provincial Administrative Boards, Most Venerable Thích Duyên, members of the Administrative Council, standing vice heads of the Provincial Buddhist Administrative Boards, and standing honorable monks of the Provincial Buddhist Board. Buddhist honorifics of 9 districts, taught and studied in BINH Province. On the side of the government, there were Mr. Trần Đức Thịnh, Deputy Directors of Departments of Home Affairs, Directors of the Religious Affairs Department of BINH Province, In a brief report on the preparations of the contract, Most Venerable Thích Huệ Thông said that up to date on the agreement of the contract has basically been completed, and the subcommittee serving the contract had also been well set and ready to welcome the Buddhist honorific and the delegate and guests. The contract takes place in the context of complicated developments of the COVID-19 pandemic, so the disease prevention measures will also be tightened. Accordingly, the contract is held with limited numbers of delegates. Each delegate attending is required to have a certificate of negative results for COVID-19 tests within 72 hours, double vaccination within 14 days at least, or F0 certificate within 6 months. The representative of the government, Mr. Trần Đức Thịnh, expressed his pleasure with welcoming the arrivals of the Most Venerable Chairman of the VBS Administrative Council and promised to give his best support for the organizations of the contracts of the Buddhist Administrative Board in BINH Province. Speaking at the meeting, Most Venerable Thích praised the solidarity and responsibility of the Buddhist Administrative Board in BINH Province, which have strictly followed the guidance of the Central Sangha on the preparation for the Congress of Buddhist delegated at provincial and federal levels for the term 2022. Most Venerable Chairman also said that BINH would be the first to come in the country to organize the Buddhist contract, which is an important event. It will serve as the premise for the Buddhist Administrative Board in other provinces and cities to hold the contract and look forward to the National Buddhist Contract at the end of 2022. On this occasion, the Most Venerable Chairman also praised the collective merit of the Provincial Buddhist Administrative Board for their efforts in completing the preparation for the contract and giving gift to the Most Venerable Thích Huệ Thông. Then, the Most Venerable personally inspected the venues of the contract at the cultural centers of the Buddha in Nevada, Hội Khánh Pagoda, and sent good wishes to Buddhist honorific monks and nuns of BINH Provincial Administrative Board, which will organize the contract successfully.
On the morning of December 10, 2021, at the main hall of Vietnam Buddhist University in Ho Chi Minh City, the monastic dignitaries celebrated the Feast of Bronze Buddha statue, assembled 9 meters in height and 7 tons in weight.
In witness, it was honored to have Most Venerable TIòng, Rector of Vietnam Buddhist University in Ho Chi Minh City, and dignified monks and a team of artisans and technicians to assemble the Buddha statue. The main hall is being built with many items in the construction phase. The ceremony is in witness to the prayer of the Rector Most Venerable of Vietnam Buddhist University, the unity of the monks and nuns for everything to progress smoothly during the construction. It is known that a SHAKYAMUNI Buddha statue will be placed in the main shrine with a height of 9 meters, comprising of 4 blocks. The aura background weighs 2 tons, the lotus-shaped base weighs 2 tons, the upper body block of 1 ton, and the lower body block of 2 tons, making a total weight of 7 tons, cast in with copper. Before the artisans and installation team assembled the Buddha statue, Most Venerable, the university's rector, and the monks and nuns had performed the worship, so that Buddha would bestow the assembly. On this occasion, Most Venerable, the university rector, also examined the items under construction and encouraged the workers to work with occupational safety, trying to complete the project on schedule as planned.
On the morning of December 16, 2021, at the hall of the District Political Training Center, Ho Chi Minh City, a conference was held to show the gratitude to religions and religious establishments, which had mobilized volunteers to support COVID-19 patients' treatment at hospital in Ho Chi Minh City.
Attending the conference were leaders of all levels of the Vietnam Violent Front and leaders of departments and unions of Ho Chi Minh City and representatives of religions. The Venerable Thích represented Buddhism to attend the conference. The conference program began with a documentary Thursday titled Flowers During the COVID-19 Pandemic, showing the volunteers. On behalf of the study's leaders, Ms. Tô Thị Bích Châu expressed her deep gratitude to the religions who encourage and encourage the volunteers, and she expressed her gratitude to the volunteers for their spirit of dedication to the lives of the patients, so that they could return soon to normality. At the same time, she called on people from all walks of life to remain closely united and raise awareness of epidemic prevention. Perceiving the full sense of responsibility, sorrow, and devotions of religious volunteers during performance of their duties, Venerable Thích Nhật Từ and representatives of religions appreciated the support of religious volunteers. Being touched by the enthusiastic spirits of volunteers, painter Lê Sang Long portrayed and presented his painting to honor that spirit. At the end of the conference, the representatives of the study leaders of the central committees of the Vietnam Foreign Front, presented souvenirs and certificates of merit to show gratitude to religions for their compassion and charity during the pandemic.
Facing the increasing number of COVID-19 patients in Ho Chi Minh City, the COVID-19 Resuscitation Hospital has coordinated with religious organizations to call for volunteers to return to support. With the consent of Elder Most Venerable Thích Quảng, head of the Ho Chi Minh City Buddhist Administrative Board, Giác Ngộ Pagoda, has called for 50 volunteers to participate, and starting with the deployment ceremony on the morning of December 13, 2021, to see our volunteers.
Having experienced a lot of rounds of being Buddhist volunteers to the field hospital, Venerable Thích Nhật Từ rated this as the largest participation. On this occasion, the Venerable described the work of volunteers such as working as nurses, assisting the doctors, reducing the severity of patients' conditions, and palliative consultation. PhD Dr. Châu Phú Thi said, volunteers are a very important and indispensable part next to the care of doctors and nurses. Volunteers are the people who come to take care of patients from A to Z. Currently, the number of patients at the hospital has exceeded 200 beds, but few volunteers remain. The doctor also thanked the volunteers for their time, effort, and acceptance to be away from their families for supporting the hospital. Accompanying Giác Ngộ Pagoda in many social security programs, Mr. Đoàn Hồng Hiệp, chairman of the Vietnam Fatherland Front Committee in District 10, appreciated the work of mobilization and coordination of volunteers that the pagoda had carried out over the time. He hoped that volunteers would make maximum efforts to help people overcome the pandemic. About half of the 50 volunteers have served in field hospital in Ho Chi Minh City and neighboring provinces such as Vũng Tàu, Đồng Nai, etc. At the deployment ceremony, the representatives of volunteers confided about the reasons that motivate them to participate in the front line against the epidemic. In the contemplation of Master Nân Chiều Hiếu Như, that is a sympathy with the patient's pain, and in the layman Nguyễn Nam Phong word, it is the reflection of a sick person as his relative. To encourage the volunteer spirit of service commitment, Buddhism Today Foundation gave gifts before seeing the volunteers off.
In the spirit of accompanying the nation and implementing the official letter number 668 UBND-VX dated September 28, 2021, and official letter number 2908 UBND-VX dated November 26, 2021, issued by the COVID-19 CDC in Sóc Trăng Province. Dong Hai Bodhisattva Kuan Yin Pagoda was put into use, taking the A2 and B3 zone for F0 patients, with 150 patients admitted on the first day of operation on December 9, 2021.
A2 and B3 zones are marked and offering dormitories. Particularly, A2 is in a use for patients accommodating about 250 beds, and B3 area is used as a place of daily life for doctors, medical staff, volunteers, and guards. In recent days, Sóc Trăng province records about 600 to 800 new cases every day, and so far there were more than 2,700 F0 patients in Vĩnh town. Venerable Thích Nhật Từ and curator volunteer before their official work in the roles of volunteer chefs called ordination. During the periods of social distancing in Ho Chi Minh City, Venerable witnessed and had the opportunity to lead the volunteers team, listen to stories at the field hospital. Now as an abbot of DUONG Bodhisattva Quan Yin Pagoda Sóc Trăng, the Venerable also mobilized volunteers to support the patient for getting well soon. The Venerable examined the equipment in the quarantine zone to make sure the doctors and volunteers worked with high efficiencies in treatment. The quarantine zone in Đông Hải Bodhisattva Quan Yin Pagoda is far from the residential area in a cool air ventilation with a very condition to have patients stabilize the spirit and soon recover from illness.
Under the guidance of Venerable Thích Minh Phú, chairman of the Nguyên Pagoda-based charity group in Ho Chi Minh City, the Buddhist philanthropists and members of charity group of the Nguyên Pagoda held the inauguration ceremony of the Nguyên Bridge number 405 and 7 almshouses in Cù Lao Dung district, Sóc Trăng province, on the morning of December 12, 2021.
The Tưởng Nguyên Bridge number 405 is 40 meters in length, 3.5 meters in width, solidly built with reinforced concrete. The bridge construction was started in April of 2021 and has so far been put into use. After the bridge inauguration, a charity team continued to hand over 7 almshouses to disadvantaged people in Cù Lao Dung district, Sóc Trăng province. The construction funds were raised by Venerable Pháp Hòa and Buddhists from Trúc Linh Tây Thiên in Canada. These are 7 almshouses out of the 50 planned houses of the program, Lotus Buds offering in 2021 of the society. Each house is worth 55 million Vietnamese dong, helping the people get the accommodation for their livelihoods. Earlier, on the 12th of December, the group had also held a groundbreaking celebration for building the almshouse of Cozy Roof of Tưởng Nguyên, number 192 in Long An province. The society also donated 300 gifts of necessities to support the people in Trà Cú and Cầu Ngang districts in Trà Vinh province to overcome the difficulties in pandemic.
Venerable monks and nuns, Buddhist ladies and gentlemen, the last news has started off this weekly Buddhist Newsreel. Thank you for your attention and following. Goodbye and see you in the next program on PSO TV channel. Namo Sakyamuni Buddha.